Christmas might be over, but don't let these red and green planes drop off your radar. Hey there, I'm John. This is Two Brothers RC, and this is the OMP Fun Stick 65. Now I know what you're all thinking. Fun stick, wood, stiff, haha, yeah, innuendo. Buddy RC reached out and asked us to demo it on the channel, and I told him that it probably wouldn't get a lot of views because it's a big departure from what we normally fly. But they said it's cool, so here it is. Thanks, Buddy RC. Let's see how it handles our 1.4 meter and larger review system for Balsa 3D planes. Yes, this is 3D capable, even if it doesn't look like it. Starting with agility, the Fun Stick is a really good performer overall. It has very chonky wings with a very low wing load. If you're the kind of pilot who won't pilot a plane unless the cubic wing load is 4.2069, then you're in luck. This thing is actually 5.37 on that arbitrary calculator that only tells you how light an airplane is, not how it actually flies. But instead of arbitrary calculators for wing load, let's try arbitrary review metrics instead. Starting off with whether the plane is prone to accelerated stalls, and that's a no. If you stall this thing, you're doing your best to force it into one. High-speed stalls are exceptionally rare. You can rip ass with this thing and it doesn't care. If you're an experienced 3D pilot, you'll be able to perform a lot of 3D with it. One consistent theme on Two Brothers is that we really enjoy airplanes that can be pushed out of their design intention. The Fun Stick was not designed as a 3D plane, but here it is performing all sorts of 3D maneuvers. It doesn't really fight the 3D inputs that you're giving it, within reason. Like, you're not going to make this thing perform insane crankshafts, but it does waterfalls, it hovers and it torque rolls, it'll do rolling harriers, inverted harriers, etc. That it's even holding up so far, being graded against the 3D Balsa metrics, is pretty impressive to me. By the way, does it have high thrust? What do you think? It'll do wing rock free harriers if you enter them right, and it is XA capable to a limited extent, but not enough that I'd try marketing it as an extreme aerobatics kind of plane. So, objectively, and I can't even believe that I'm using these 3D metrics and it's holding up to them, the Fun Stick 65 earns a 4 out of 5. Not bad for a stick that wasn't designed to be a 3D plane, huh? Flight time is another major area of interest for any plane that we feature, and the Fun Stick really shines well here too. Because it's light and because you can get away with very little elevator trim which avoids drag, you can easily achieve over 8 minutes of flying. Yes, that includes hovering, torque rolling, and anything else you've been seeing me perform on camera here. I actually had to push the plane harder than I had planned to because my wife's shoulders were starting to hurt from holding the camera while filming it. It's a good sign for you as a pilot when a plane can fly so long that the camera woman gets annoyed about it. The Fun Stick earns a 5 out of 5 in flight time. Moving on to landing gear, the Fun Stick, like most any other plane, does have landing gear, and it mostly checks out. The gear work quite well, but they're stiff wheels. That isn't really a problem if you're not landing like a meteor. It does have stiff suspension, which is preferable for Balsa airplanes. While I'd love to see fully articulating suspension on one of these birds, I also know that it increases the probability of a prop strike which can destroy the motor box. In Balsa airframes, that can be the end of the fuselage and necessitates ordering a brand new one. Not fun and definitely not inexpensive. The gear are lightweight, and being a stiff piece of metal, they require very little maintenance. The Fun Stick earns a 4 out of 5 in landing gear. Before we wrap up the gear section, the Fun Stick is really easy to grab if you're used to hovering and grabbing planes out of the air. Love doing that. This is a totally viable way to land if you want to. Just make sure that you fly good, don't suck, because it definitely would suck to have that prop take a chunk out of you. Don't try this at home, or do. I can't tell you what to do. The covering film on the entire airplane is really nice, with no visible warping or deformation. Like any Balsa plane though, make sure that you own a covering iron so that you can touch up areas that might start to wrinkle over time. The linkage setup used for all of the servos was great, and it held up to flying this plane well outside of its design intentions. All of the hinges are CA style hinges, factory installed fabric tabs that get turned into plastic by wicking thin CA into them. You do need to install the rudder yourself and put some thin CA on the hinges to get it installed, but it's really easy to do. The surface detailing on the plane looks great, for what little there is anyway, and it also earns a pass here. Assembly took like 15 minutes total. There isn't much to setting the Fun Stick up. Bolt on the tail, glue the rudder, slide the wings on the wing tube, plug in the wing servos. You can also store the wing tube inside of the fuselage, which is great. It's one less thing to keep track of, and one less chance to say, "Oh shit, I forgot something," while you're at the field. Also, when it comes to balsa planes, I highly recommend screwing the nylon screws into the wings so that they won't get lost during transport either. The Fun Stick earns a 5 out of 5 here. Moving on to the final category, which is avionics and lighting, OMP continues their trend of selling planes with great metal-geared servos that are fast, quiet, and precise. They're also metal too, which I just said, so, anyway. I'd be surprised to see anyone have issues with these servos unless you're one of the lucky few that gets stuck with the occasional dud from the factory. The ESC never warmed up enough to be concerned with, and the motor mount wasn't a concern either. It's easy to swap motors if you want to, but why? The Sunny Sky motor on this thing screams. Keep it. It is possible to adjust the battery positioning too, and I preferred running SMC 3600 packs as far back as I could get them to sit without coming off the strap in flight. Overall, the Fun Stick earns a 23 out of 25, which is very, very good. If you're new to Two Brothers, it's exceedingly rare for a plane to score less than 18, and also pretty uncommon to score above 24. The usual range is 20 to 24, and the Fun Stick sits on the upper end of that. That should tell you that it's well built, very capable, and hopefully a lot of fun. If you're the kind of pilot who likes aggressive flying, the Fun Stick will do it. If you want to do lazy circles, it's hard to argue with it either. It does enough to make any balsa pilot happy. It's just ugly because it's a stick. If you like what you've seen and you want to get one, pick it up from the Buddy RC affiliate link in the description below. It costs nothing extra, but it gives us a small commission for the sale, so it's win-win. You get a plane, we get a little cash. It helps fund what we do here on the channel. Speaking of, huge thanks again to the channel members on twobrosrc.com, including Sarasota RC Squadron and Michael Smith, who both signed up for the Mega Fans tier. If you want to help us review airplanes from companies like Motion RC, or even suggest your own ideas for what we should fly, pop over to twobrosrc.com and sign up for a channel membership. You get access to a private Discord channel where we can chat together, help shape the future of the channel and what we fly on it, and also help keep the channel sustainable for us so that we can bring reviews of all airplanes, not just the ones that some companies choose to send out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys again next week with the new F-22 80mm from Freewing. You guys helped us get it to review, and we're going to do what we can this week to get it done, prepped, and ready to see. Stay tuned.